I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that. Hey, why not?
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Ice Cold Facts. Got a very, very, very special guest. As she would say, a blast from the past. I keep wanting to say Jordan Plummer, but it's Jordann Reese now. So I have to be conscious of that. So welcome to the show, Jordann Reese. How you doing, sis?
Man, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. Yeah,
No
it
problem.
is a blast from the past, but I'm glad that we're able to do this.
Yeah.
One hooper to another. It's good seeing you again.
Yeah. We So I always say that there's a difference between like basketball players and hoopers, and you're a flat out hooper. You like, for honestly, real talk, you one of the coldest girls I ever seen like play in person or just period. So I'm gonna give you your props on that because you was a hooper. I got some stats I'm gonna throw out there later so I can prove my point. Because, you got to back everything up with facts. So I'm going to back it up. But for the ones that don't know Jordan Plummer, Jordann Reese, just give a brief intro about yourself.
Jordan Plummer, Jordann Reese now. But I'm from St. Louis. Grew up in U City. Repping that to the death of me. U City stand up.
Okay.
But basketball wasn't my first sport. Ran track for forever, since 5 up to like 11 and 12. So people can say I'm a late bloomer on top of that. So I ran for the Royal Knights. Shout out to Coach Carr, RIP. But yeah, and hooped with boys. Got to high school with Cardinal Ritter. Graduated in 05. Was able to get a scholarship to play at Drake University up in Des Moines, Iowa. Played there, did my thing. Had the opportunity to play overseas, but I had a couple of torn labrum that needed some repair in my shoulder, so that kind of deterred.
Yeah.
Me comfortably going over there, with this. Like, I don't really know about the medical, the confidence that over there, and then them like, okay, she's a little bit injured, so they putting in a lot of money.
Yeah.
Americans go over there play, so you got to be in pristine shape. So, my head coach would talk to me all the time about coaching, and I brushed that stuff off like, no, I'm not trying to coach college basketball. But I stumbled upon an opportunity coaching the AAU program, and then it's been sticking with me for 11 years since then. So
you're a vet in the game, coaching wise. So
it's weird to hear people say that. Like, I don't feel like a vet at all. I feel like I'm still young, still hungry.
Yeah.
Still learning.
Yeah.
So I guess I guess it's different levels than what I look at it, but I definitely feel like a vet.
Yeah. So when did you say basketball wasn't your first sport? When did you like really fall in love with basketball? Like what really influenced you to pick that up, to make that like your main go-to sport?
I would have to say, for me, when I started with a co-ed basketball team. We played in the PAL League. I played with Kim Burke.
Okay, shout out to Kim Burke.
Shout out to Kim Burke, the CRCP legend. But yeah, I played with his younger brother, Kenzie. And it was just a co-ed team that their dad actually formed.
Okay.
And it was me and this other girl, Tiana, that was on the team, and that was it. And then she ended up stopped playing, so I was just the only girl on the team. And so I played basketball with them for 2 years. So I would say just the challenge of it because it was a new sport and I wanted to get great at it.
Okay.
So like we was out doing something every day. If anybody who worked out with Coach Burke, with Ken and Kenzie, like, it
They were
was
beasts.
hours out there every day running hills.
Yeah.
They had a half court basketball hoop at their house outdoors. So we was out there doing that. We was at Hazelwood West track, doing plyos, doing everything like that. So I would say I fell in love then. Like I always played, always knew about the game. My mom, my dad, sports fanatic.
Yeah.
I grew up watching basketball. So it wasn't like I was like cut off from it. But as far as playing and getting really deep into it, man, it would have to be when I was like sixth grade, grade, seventh grade. That's when I really got heavily into it. And I was just every day after school, get my afternoon snack. Boom, we going out to work out from like 4 to damn near 6 o'clock, 6:30.
Yeah.
And then, I'm out there with, fast forward, I'm out there with Brian Baldwin, Colin Toms. I know I'm forgetting some others, but I mean, we were just out there all the time. Dwight, what's his name? Dwight Bird.
Yeah, Dwayne
Yeah.
Bird.
Yep. I mean, all of them. I was always the only girl out there, so it was always like, boys are stronger, faster, and so I always like try to prove that wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I always So that would be.
That's something that always helps, female athletes. Period. No matter what the sport is. I always listen to like Candace Parker, for instance. She grew up with older brothers and she just lived. Her brothers hooped. It was something she gradually picked up and she spent that time out there with them, and that ultimately makes you better. Spending that time with guys that are bigger, faster, stronger. That way it translates over to your game and you stand above the pack, which you got to Cardinal Ritter, freshman year. You started all 4 years, right?
Right.
So I got my facts. I was going to hold them off, but I'm going to pull them up right now because it was crazy, Jordann, to really – I didn't even know. You were a 4-time 3A All-State team selection. Your senior year, you were a McDonald's All-American nominee. You scored over 2,000 points for your career. You averaged 17, 5.7 rebounds, almost 5 steals, and almost 4 assists as a senior.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that sounds – I mean, I don't know the last time you heard your stats, but you were doing it all. You literally did it all. And like I said, it's the difference between basketball players and then hoopers. And you was out there hooping. So what made you choose Cardinal Ritter?
Man, that's easy. I mean, I could tell you, I know exactly where I was at the day that I decided I wanted to go to Cardinal Ritter. I lived in Matthew Dickey Boys and Girls Club. Like, I was there all the time. Like, anybody grew up in St. Louis, that was like in hoop. Like, that was. I wish it was what it was now, but so I was there. St. Louis American newspaper was sitting around, and so it was an article in there about Cardinal Ritter, and it had pictures of Black students, and it said graduation rate, scholarship guarantee, post graduation, like 99%, 100%. Like it was just boasting all this stuff, and I just like, you know what? I want to go there. And like my friend who I played basketball with, Ashley House, she was already there.
Okay. So, shout out to Ashley. She was a beast too.
Yeah. Yep.
And killing in the paint.
And Lauren. So like, yeah, she was. You wouldn't mess with her. Her and Lauren Collins, those two I knew prior. Lauren Collins from track, her family, and then basketball too. But I seen that article, and that's what did it for me. Like my grandma wanted me to go to Rosati Kane, like to the point where she was going to pay my tuition. That's how badly she wanted me to go to Rosati Kane. I was like, I don't want to go to no all girls school.
Yeah.
And then like I told my parents that night, like, man, Cardinal Ritter, like I would love to go there. It's all Black. I definitely wasn't going to U City High School. I know I had a whole bunch of friends there, but I was just like, looking at the program and like, you know, my 8th grade year, I don't even know if like Anthony Purdue would know this, but like we went to hella games. Like, you know, Jocelyn Sanford, you know, I was cool with them. She was already playing there. I think she was a senior at the time, and I was in 8th grade. So me and her never got to play with each other. But, you know, I knew a couple of the players that was on the team. So I already felt connected to the school. And so then once I did my visit, and then I seen, that's crazy. I went on my visit not knowing that my friend Alex Barnett.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Alex.
Yeah, big shout out to old school. Like we didn't even like talk about it, but we had our visit the same day. And I'm like, oh, you gonna come here too? I was facts, like we in here. And so I remember me and my family met with Mr. Bischoff and everything. So I mean, but that article in the newspaper, that's what did it for me. Like I wanted to go to an all black high school. I wanted to have that experience, and you know, I didn't know at the time. Like I knew when I wanted D1, I knew I had to put in the work. But I'm like, shit, this is a college prep school, and they getting scholarships out the wazoo for these students, to where parents they got to pay little to nothing. So I'm covered either way. So that's how I looked at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing for a lot of people that choose Ritter, to have that experience, you know, where people look like you, they talk like you, you're immersed in that culture. I mean, that was a big thing for me as well, on top of it being a small school, you know. So I grew up going to small schools all my life. And if I would have stayed where I was supposed to go, I would have ended up at McClure sooner, or I would have went to Gateway. And so for me, Ritter was literally right around the corner from my grandmother's house. The old Thekla building, I was familiar with it. This name, you probably never seen him play, but Gerald Witherspoon was like he was like my determining factor. I went to a Beaumont versus Cardinal Ritter game, and Gerald Witherspoon was giving buckets.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I want to be like this dude. I want to go to this school. And I was there for 2 years, and then, as you reminded me, I shook.
Yeah.
It was off. It was off for the good. They got worse once I left, you know. But I'm literally the year I left, they went 31-0. So
right.
I was just talking to Terry about that. Like, y'all couldn't have waited, man, to at least senior year do that. But I felt real bad. But it is what it is. So did you play AAU with anybody like throughout high school?
Yeah. So like, I played with Matthew Dickey Hoops from Majority, and then I played with like the Hoop Stars.
Okay.
And they don't exist no more. But it was ran by Dennis Griffin. So I was playing with Teresa Lish. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she was cold with it. She went to SLU.
Is that Kevin Lish's sister?
Yeah. You know,
nice.
I personally felt that she could have went somewhere better, but she went where she went, and she was still is one of the most decorated players at our program at St. Louis University. So she didn't even play her senior year, but yeah, she was tough. Like that was one of the toughest white girls I've ever played with.
Her brother was the same way.
Oh my God!
Yeah, like, man, he was nice.
Yeah, they were cold with it. So, but yeah, so I played with like a few. Some of them don't even exist anymore, like I said. But like Comets was one of the first experiences I had with like an AU program, like a true tryout, bro. I'm going there. I was nervous as hell. I was nervous. I'm like, because I ain't never been in that environment before. It was way different than track. Like track, you just show up and, you know, you better stretch and be loose and, you know, make that time.
Right.
But basketball is like, shoot. It's like, you know, you worried about every single mistake you could possibly make. And like, oh, and you fact checking over here left and right. Like, man, I know I'm better than them, you know what I'm saying? So, we went and, you know, I was a little devastated. I didn't make the team first time. And, you know, I made like their B team or whatever. So I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I was like, man, And so I played for a little bit, and I got better and stuff. But then I shook and went to Matthew Hoops and played there for years, and then I played a little bit with I think they were Crusaders. You gotta forgive me, man. This is ages. I think Crusaders.
I was gonna say I'm taking you all the way back. So
yeah, I was like, shoot, yeah, Crusaders, I think, and then like Hoop Stars. So, but yeah.
So in high school, besides Drake, what other schools could have possibly gotten you? Who was kind of recruiting you the hardest?
Carbondale was on me pretty tough. It was the same coaching staff that was at UMKC, and they had moved their staff once the head coach got the job down there.
Okay.
At Carbondale, and I was considering them for a strong bit, but I could have went to Dartmouth.
How
and I was
ironic.
like, man, right. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Alex he still talks about this to this day when we chat. He was like, man, you could have killed it at Dartmouth, man. Why didn't you just come up there with me? I was like, I don't know, man. At the time he made his decision, I had already made mine, and it was just like, but I told him, I was like, Dartmouth's looking at me too, and he's like, well, shit, what we waiting on? I was like, man, I don't know.
That would have been something, man, for y'all to take over the programs, killing it on the boys and girls side, friends, and from the same high school.
Man, it would just been like, dude, this is too much. Like, but yeah, so Dartmouth was a consideration. The only reason I didn't, it was just too far for me personally. Like, my parents would never make any of the games, things like that. And granted, I know it's Ivy League and stuff like that. I passed up on that. Like, that's hands down. Like, Jordan, what are you doing? But
yeah.
No. And then like UIC, I know I took an official visit there. Colorado.
Okay.
A little bit, Notre Dame, just a little bit. And I say that because I went to like the elite camp and I was killing.
Yeah.
And Coach Washington was there at the time as the assistant coach, and she was just like, I started to stand out a lot. And usually, and I didn't know this at the time, but like these elite camps, these coaches know, and we know like who we trying to bring in, some of our top players.
Yeah.
So like they ain't really know me from Adam, so I just came up there because I respect the program and I followed the hell out of Neil Ivy. So
yeah, shout out to Neil Ivy.
Man, big move, man.
That's a crazy journey.
Love it. And so they keep matching me up with this girl, or they keep putting me with like this group of their, scholarship offered players. And I didn't know that at the time. I'm like, all right, shit, let's hoop. So I'm going there doing my thing, whatever. And then, the last day of camp, they do all the finals of the competitions and stuff. So I'm doing a one-on-one. You get 3 or 4 dribbles. So I'm like, oh, this is like hooping with the boys all the time. Like, Coach Burke and all them, we do this, the Killer Man drill all the time. Like, so
cakewalk.
Doing my thing or whatever. End up winning it. And, like, camp commences and stuff. My parents show up to come pick me up. And, like, Coach Queese is, like, giving me talks and giving me this questionnaire stuff to fill out and stuff. And trying to set up an unofficial visit, like, right there on the spot. Like, they're trying to get this stuff moving. Then one of the girls that was there, like, she committed. And so they was like, well, they just kind of politely told me, ain't got no more room for the class.
No room for you.
I said it was short-lived.
Man. Hey, but just the thought that, it could have been.
Oh, yeah, it could have been. Absolutely. Like, had it happened a little sooner or whatever, yeah. Oh, yeah. You could have Notre Dame me real quick.
Yeah. That's the little princess in the background.
Yeah. She's in here.
Yeah. So I was going to say that, but let's dive right into that motherhood. How how is that for you? You know, how are you transitioning from being a hooper, being an athlete to, you know, a mom?
Oh man, ain't nothing like it, man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Like, you know, I had my journey, I'm still involved with basketball, but motherhood is a whole different, ain't no playbook for it.
Right. That's true.
So ain't no like, all right, if you do it exactly like this, you put this much practice into it, it's nothing to prepare you for it, but it's just an unbelievable amount of joy, love.
Yeah.
Just like full happiness. Like, I take the tantrums that come with it right now, but it's all part of it.
Yeah. Especially at that she's 2, so you got the terrible 2s. Yeah. Some people face the terrible 3s. It just it depends. I'm gonna make you feel real old.
Oh God.
So my oldest just turned 14.
Damn.
So he'll be 9th grade. So I've got 14, my daughter about to be 12, and I got a 9-year-old. So
oh yeah, you talking about a vet. You the vet.
I'm definitely a vet. I got the gray hair. I got it all. But I feel young. That's the crazy part.
Oh yeah, they definitely keep they definitely keep.
So you mentioned you had some overseas opportunities, but you had to show the injury. I guess where were you looking at to go overseas? You know, and how did that kind of pan out? You know, when you figured out that it wasn't going to work out, you know, going overseas, what made you look into the coaching aspect of everything?
So definitely like it was Poland was really, really, really like that's where I was going to head off to.
Okay.
And I was talking to a dear friend of mine, Rebecca Harris, major hooper, you know, shout out to her. I'm out here name dropping left and right. I feel crazy, but I'm like, when I was listening to interviews, I was like, people stop name dropping, but I mean, I got to give my props when it's due. Yeah. But yeah, Rebecca Harris, Beck Harris. If you don't know about it in the area, then you losing. That girl's cold, but she's still be playing overseas to this day. She like 15, 16 years of playing overseas, but she, you know, I was talking to her a lot because she, like, what do I pack? What do I, you know, what kind of charger? Like I know electrical outlets, all that stuff is different. So she was giving me the layout and everything and helping me like negotiate a contract, this and the third. And,
okay.
You know, I was talking with my agent and stuff, but it just in the end for me, like, I didn't feel all the way comfortable with it. And so I was like, you know what, no. So, yeah, so how I got involved in coaching, you know, it's an AU program in Ankeny, Iowa, 15 minutes from Des Moines, called Kingdom Hoops.
Sounds very rural.
It is very rural. Like, outside of the gym, like, it has its, we'll just keep it as rural, but their gym is sick. Like, that was the first time I seen a gym set up to where it can accommodate volleyball and basketball. So a lot of centers that you guys have now down in Texas, where it's just a massive warehouse of like 20 to 25 courts. Like Kingdom Hoops, I think, had 12 full court courts. So where, like, if they had volleyball practice, because they had a volleyball program, they could just split it in half. So, like, you can still have your volleyball practice and you can still have your basketball practices going.
Okay.
And conflict. So it was rarely, like, you know, volleyball team waiting for a court. Very rarely. Gotcha. So, you know, I coached a 7th grade team, all AAU. So I'm like green. And all it took was one practice for me. Like, let me try it out. And so obviously I'm doing practices and drills and trying to lay it out like we did in college. Like, that's all I have to prefer.
Yeah.
And man, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Me and my my good friend Carl Ross, who played at Iowa State, we linked up and we coached this team, and we were driving those 15 passenger vans to Chicago with these kids. Man, it was fun as heck. We had the best time. Like we won some. I ain't gonna say my winning percentage. Like I went in there and I killed, but we played at our right level. So you know, it was a good experience, and it just opened the door for me to, want to coach, and it validated for me that there will not be. I right now, even to this day, I just high school coaching. I salute all high school coaches. Me personally, I have the patience more on the collegiate level.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I guess, a little spoiled by it because I don't really have to deal with all the additional stuff that goes on being a high school coach. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So with, like I said, you're an assistant at SLU, St. Louis University, on the women's program. What are your your day-to-day activities or duties, as an assistant? Because they break it down like every assistant has basically a different job, right? Some are in charge of the recruiting aspect, some are in charge of player development. So what's your role at SLU?
My role is perimeter guard, skill development.
Okay.
I'm in charge of everything academics. So far as scheduling, obviously grade checkups.
Yeah.
Formulating practice schedules that we'll have the whole team present. Recruiting, we really don't have a recruiting coordinator. I would just say I'm more of the organized sets of recruiting in aspects of travel purposes, who needs to go where, which one of our top players, what events they're playing at, names of AU coaches and high schools and stuff. So that I'm relied on a lot with that.
Okay.
And we all come together weekly and talk about our call list, who needs to call who, or we just kind of rotate lists. I haven't talked to such in a while. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much the day-to-day piece of it. Is just, right now, if I were in the office, we'll be talking, it's off season right now. So we're trying to, we're doing a lot of reflection as to what offense that we ran that worked best with the team that we have and what we have coming in defensively. We're making some adjustments, as to what we want to introduce first and what, our team has shown to be good at. So yeah, it's back. It's some basketball talk. Obviously, recruiting never stops, and then just day-to-day administrative stuff. You got to do this paperwork here, this online training here. But it's a lot of, right now, this time, being on the phone, doing Zoom calls. Keeping our kids are in summer school, so making sure they're all on the straight and narrow, not missing any sign that's not cooling off or anything like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw my plug out there with and I told you before, I got your back. When the time comes, I'm gonna have some recruits for you. Make your job easier, make you look good. I'm gonna start throwing some people your way. So be prepared for that within the next year to two. I have some girls for you to check out and can go from there.
Right.
I help you, you help me.
Right, exactly.
So with the whole COVID-19, I know you mentioned, you're doing a lot of Zoom calls and stuff right now. We're at the beginning of June. So on an average summer, you would be out probably recruiting, being at different tournaments and things like that. So how is it so different, versus being in the gym versus not really being able to go out, check girls out, and you're stuck having to FaceTime them and things like that?
Well, right now, June, we would be going for Division Ones. We can't really go out and recruit until July.
Okay.
But June is major camp for a lot of universities. So that, I mean, typically that's what we're doing right now, getting stuff ready for camp, making sure we got numbers, t-shirt orders, getting ready to roll it out here in the next like 2 weeks. But it's as far as recruiting now with the COVID, it's a lot of making decisions off highlight films.
Yeah.
And full game video. So if any high schoolers listening, anything like, the emails, send us the emails, put contact information, dress it up as you would a resume, but
yeah,
we would love to see a full game as much as highlights are, great. Yeah. It highlights get our attention, but it's not going to be like, okay, we need to offer that kid. Like there's very few who highlights is just like, okay, yeah, we need to offer. There are those where, the talent is just like, boom. But I mean, we also appreciate just seeing the full game, just to see other intangibles that don't get static.
Yeah.
And just see how you move and flow in the course of a game, body language. Are you a hustler too, or are you just all about scoring, not much defense? Because not many people put defense in their highlights. So
I know those are not going in there. You know that.
No, but I mean, and it's not like we're out here searching for defenders, but we, at our level, like you got to have at least some kind of value on the other end of the ball too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I talked to earlier. I talked to a coach, Brian Penny Collins. He's the head coach at Tennessee State, and he basically said he replicated what you just said. With as much as he loves to see highlights, it makes it tougher to recruit because he wants to see the body language. If you pick up a bad foul, he wants to see how you react to it. Things like that. So those small intangibles that you can't see on the highlight tape, those are just as important. So like you said, for anybody that's listening that's in high school, those things are important, it's easy to get buckets, it's easy to get steals, but how good of a team player are you? How are you congratulating your teammates when they come off the court? All those small things matter, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. Yeah. So I got two coaches that basically said the same thing. So that means a lot then.
Yeah, I mean, when we go out in July, like, here's the thing. If you can hoop and you like doing your thing in high school, AU, whatever, we're going to know about you. Like, word travels fast. So, we not there, although it is nice, to see you, go off, but our evaluation, obviously the scoring and still like the statistical stuff, yeah, but we're evaluating like, all right, where are their parents? How they interact? Because parents play a part in it too. Like, I've seen players not get opportunities because mom, dad, or, wilding out in the stands.
Yeah.
Now I get that you're supporting your baby, your child, but you also know as an adult when it's like, okay, this may be a little over the top.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's very fine lines.
Yeah, so like, and we can decipher between the two. Like I've been in tournaments where dad's been pissed their daughter didn't get to play much, and he over there trying to choke out AAU coach. Like those instances happen, and so that sticks with your daughter and or son. That sticks. That right there, you just built a reputation against your child because of your own frustrations or whatever they may be. You know what I'm saying? Over a AAU game that the record means nothing. Like
it's the parents that make it worse nowadays.
Yeah,
like I deal with it firsthand.
Yeah, so that's why I want to put that out there too. Like, parents, if you're listening, like, it's okay to be supportive. Yes, I'm not knocking that at all.
Yeah.
When and if my daughter so chooses to play a sport and things like that, like, I think I'll be fine. I mean, I think us as a family, as a unit, I think we'll be okay. I'll just say that. But yeah, that's what the evaluation goes way beyond the skills.
Okay.
The skills will get our attention, get you in. But now, like, once you get our attention and we see your skills, we tap in everybody around you.
Gotcha.
Talking about, you try to see, who's the influencer and like making the decision. So is their uncle that they work out with? Okay, well, I need to speak to the uncle.
Yeah.
Hey, you working out? Let me talk to your uncle on the phone. Talk to him, get a then it becomes relationship. Then we're like tapping into your AU coaches, your high school coaches, guidance counselors. Like, we trying to find out what you like, what you don't like, favorite food, all that.
Okay.
I mean, the investment is deep. Like, it's almost it's just deep. It's deep. Okay. So when we're invested, we throw an offer out there. We then, even before we throw the offers out there, we're trying to see who's in your inner circle and getting a great relationship with that inner circle.
Okay.
Maintaining it. Yeah. So it's, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma. We want to know them all.
Gotcha. Now, how important are the grades? When, let's say you got a recruit, she's killing it. Like you said, that the skill aspect that sparks the interest. So once you see that interest skill-wise, now you tap into all the other things. So is there, let's say a girl's out killing it, but let's say her GPA, her core GPA is maybe a 2.2, just throwing a number out there. Will SLU still give her interest, or are you guys, is your baseline measure for GPA higher?
Well, if we feel as a staff, as a unit, that individual is a program changer, there are I don't want to use the word like or the statement ways around it, but we figure out how to guide the kid as far as like we've had 2 cases to where their senior year was super crucial. Like they couldn't get anything semester wise, anything lower than a B. Like they had to get B's and A's. They had to. Otherwise, they had the academic red shirt tag coming in.
Gotcha.
So they both got it done. And been very beneficial to our program. So, but, and I think for all programs, like there are a little bit of leniency, the coaching staff, obviously the athletic directors all have to have a deep, strong discussion, and make sure, we, on our end, we have to have a type of program set in place. Like if prospect XYZ is coming to our program, if we are really going to stick this offer out and things like that and have a strong chance of getting her, this is the academic plan that we are going to enforce to ensure she has the additional support on top of all the tutors, on top of, any other academic assistance he or she may need. She's going to get an additional amount of support from our coaching staff.
Okay.
So for me being like that, every coaching staff has someone who watches over academics. So, when we put that plan together, yeah, everybody on the staff is involved, but a nice portion of it goes on the plate of the coach who watches over academics. Just ensure that plan is going through, having that conversation, spending that time. So it's definitely cases out there to where, even at SLU, which is known to be very, very strong academically.
Yeah. And that's one thing. When I talked to Terry Evans, he kind of pointed out how student athletes don't take advantage of the resources that are out there. So with tutors, with study halls, with all these resources you have as being a student athlete, we'll keep it real. Student athletes get the upper hand, so they're all student athletes, no matter what school you're at, you're put on a higher pedestal than, the regular student. The average student's not going to get what you get. So you need to take advantage of it and, make the best of it. Like when I see guys that get to college and they become ineligible for grades. And I get the life of an athlete. I know it's rough,
Right.
but at the end of the day, you got all these resources that you can tap into, so it's good to hear from somebody like yourself that kind of covers the academic aspect. So people know, like, you got to be eligible. You got to get them grades to stay eligible.
Man, I mean, I know the kids probably get tired of hearing it, but that's how important, that's how serious it is. And I mean, one of the many great advice that my dad has ever told me was, leading into high school, like, make sure you start off strong. Like your freshman year, start out strong, because he said it's going to be hard as hell to try to catch up with what you didn't take care of when you first got there. He said each year you're obviously getting older, the courses are getting harder, so make sure you start off strong. Like, you have to. It is a must. And it's, I tell our players that all the time. Like, every semester you start off with straight A's. It's up to you to maintain it.
That's true. That's right.
I mean, and so, like, same thing with high school. And I know you're gonna let your son know, like, sports is cool and all, but it only takes you that, this far. Like, that report card, that ACT, that's your resume.
Yep.
That is your resume to get this job, to get that opportunity. So if it's not looking good and enticing, not too many programs are going to take that chance. You may have to go the alternate route, which is fine. Shout out to JUCOs, because JUCOs be making monsters. Like, man, making monsters. So so I can't stress it enough how important grades are.
Definitely.
Because the stronger your grades are, honestly, in high school, say you have like a strong GPA, mid to we'll say like 3.2 or higher. The higher your GPA is, the less stress on your ACT score.
Right.
And I don't know if the kids really understand that, but like say you got a 3.7 overall cumulative, like, you don't have to go in there and knock it out with a 25. Right. If you like a student athlete and you getting interest, D2, D1, whatever, like, you just gotta hit that 18 and you good.
Yeah.
But if you got a 2.5 or a 2.7, then that number goes up for you. So it's that you have all the chances in the world to get that GPA up and maintain it. And so it's less stress on the just one opportunity where you in that joint for 4 or 5 hours, and you gotta focus, whether over the course of 4 years, and maximize that.
Yeah, I've been down that road. The ACT ain't no joke, man.
It's not.
It's nerve-wracking, especially when you're an athlete. Like, my future rides on this. This is basically my golden ticket. And so you're in that room, like you said, for 4 to 5 hours. You're stressing. You got all types of you're trying to focus on the test, but at the same time, you got all these thoughts running through your head as well. So I mean, I took it, I think, 3 times, couldn't get past the 18. So I'm like, man, after the second time, I didn't really want to take it again. I was like, whatever, it is. But I never took advantage of the ACT prep. I never did any of that. I just, on a humbug, like, I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna take this test in 2 weeks.
Right.
So, guys need to realize that too. Like, go take that prep test and better yourself. Be prepared, because I don't like the way it's graded. It's not really a test that determines anything from your IQ.
Right.
It doesn't really measure that on a good scale. So I hope eventually they go away with it. But if you get guys like on the guy side, now they can go to the G League straight out of high school. So that's a big topic now, with NCAA. It's like, I know on the girl side, it's not affecting you all at all, and for the most part, girls can't even go. They can't go one and done or anything like that, right?
We
have to stay 4 years.
Well, they can stay for 3. They can leave after their junior year.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, you touched on it. I mean, talking about resources, like you said, going back to high school, get to know your guidance counselor.
Definitely.
Get to know your guidance counselor, because, as much as you know the stats of LeBron or whoever your favorite player is, know the stats on yourself. Like, just know the stats on yourself academically. Like, don't just always be trusting it in the guidance counselor hand, because they're balancing hundreds of other kids within the class. So, understand, make sure, because we've had these cases too, where and parents as well, be knowing what the 16 core classes are needed and necessary. If you and your child are really serious and he or she has a great chance, Division I sport or whatever, but make sure they are being aligned up with the right classes. And the guidance counselor should know that, but you want to make sure that they are on pace to make sure senior year they're not loading up because they're a half semester short here, half semester short there.
Yeah.
So,
that's the one thing I liked about Cardinal Ritter. I mean, going to a college prep, when I left from Cardinal Ritter and got to McClure, I mean, at Cardinal Ritter, I don't know if it was like that when you were there, but we were taking like 2 math classes a semester, 2, everything was almost double. So when I got to McClure, I was pretty much done with my core stuff because I did it all at Ritter. So, but I knew what was going on. I didn't rely on nobody to tell me that. So I was in tune with everything as far as academically. So let's rewind back to you at Cardinal Ritter. I think it's 6 or 7 people that have their jersey retired.
Here we go.
You're the only female up there. That's dope. How did that come about? Did they reach out to you and say, hey, this is what we want to do for you? What was that type of conversation?
Yeah, that conversation still blows me. They reached out to me, PT, shout out to Preston Thomas.
Coach Thomas.
The GOAT. But he called me and he was talking about the idea of it. And, he's like, I'm getting this done, because his idea was to make sure he just put it back out there. I remember at Thekla, we would always walk that athletic hall, and it would always be Lauren Woods, Heidi White, Chris Carrawell, at the time, it was just all, major ball players were just coming out of there. And so we get to the new building, and it's very, very bare. It's not much besides, you got the banners in the gym of the 31-0 team, and everything that's been done there, And so he's like, no, we gotta add more life to this. So he got it going, and then next thing you know, he called and followed up and said, we're gonna retire your jersey. I'm like, for real? I was like, man, quit playing. He was like, no, man. He was like, dude, you're the most decorated women's basketball player that we've ever had in this program.
Definitely.
Like, you're probably going to be the only female up there for years to come. And, like, dude, I don't really say much to anybody about it.
Yeah.
I'm just humble with it. I'm like, whatever. But, yeah, like, when I do go in there and, like, I'm recruiting or whatever, or just going up there just to, show face and in the school. It is always crazy to me that, I look up there and my name is up there with freaking Lauren Woods and like Chris Carrawell. Like, what? Like, what? Like, I used to hoop with them not even knowing who the hell they were for real. Like, when at the old gym, Chris would be coming back from Duke or whatever. PT would be working them out, and like Lauren Woods, like all them, and like I'm going through the drills with them. And I was in 8th grade, and I'm just like, all right, dudes is hooping. I'm hooping with them too.
Yeah.
Like, no freaking clue for real. Like, they dropping the names. My dad was like, you know who you just working out with? Like, yeah, his name's Chris. Like, Chris, like.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was straight whooping with these cats. Like, yeah, Gerald was in there. I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, you officially have that title. You're the greatest women's player to ever come out of Cardinal Ritter. Really, in my opinion, one of the greatest to come out of St. Louis. You know, despite and my history goes back to about 2002, and maybe up until now, I'm still familiar with women players that come out of St. Louis. But I mean, just the 2,000 points alone, over 2,000 points, that get you in there. You know, as one of the best out of St. Louis, but you're definitely one of the best out of the best out of Cardinal Ritter. Most people don't know this either. Your husband, shout out to Reese.
Yes, sir.
So how's the environment in the house? Like, who's more competitive?
Oh, dog. Listen, we don't play each other in nothing because we both we learned this early on in our relationship. Because at the time I was coaching at Webster University, so I always had keys to the gym, and he was coaching at Central at the time, so we both always had keys to the gym. So, one of our first couple dates, meetups, we was in the gym. Playing 1-on-1, bro. Like, I would but here's the thing, like, I would be up on him, like it would be 4-2 or something like that, and like then this dude just started just shooting and not missing, and it would just I still get upset about it. It'll be all the time the scores be 4-5. It was never like a dominant nothing. And, yeah. So
maybe he was taking it easy on you.
Hell no. No. Because he was trying, I was like, only thing, like, obviously, don't post me up, anything like that. And he can't dunk, so that I didn't have to put that in there. But, yeah. So, to this day, like, we knew early on, like, it were times that, like, I would lose and then I just wouldn't speak to him. Like, dude, just get away from me. Like, and so he'll be running around like, dude, I told you I could be. Like, I would get so, I'm like, dude, like, what? Like, do you know who you playing? Like, a part of me just get a little cocky. Like, do you know who you playing right now? Like, do you know who you playing right now? Don't think that I'm just a girl basketball player. Like, don't disrespect me like that. So we get out there and play, but we don't play each other much anymore. I shouldn't say much. We don't play each other at all. Like, unless it's like a horse game or something like that, then we'll play. But even then, like, if one of us lose, we mad for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So the best of our relationship, we have a competitive spirit and we respect it by not playing each other. We had our battles. They're dead and gone in the wind.
Yeah.
I would say I maybe won once or two. I won a few. And I don't say I ain't go goose egg. I won a few, but we always ran it back. Obviously, the other person wanted it. Like I say, I can't leave the gym without a dub. So
yeah, we don't want you out there like loving basketball and scraping knees and elbows and all that.
But no, my husband, with the little lefty, man, he.
Hey, it's something special about lefties.
Man, I'm like, dude, this. Yeah, I always ask him, because I know he played with the Eagles and stuff like that, and he played with Kalen Grimes, and he played basketball and stuff. But
he was a beast. I mean, he was a good player. That just a lot of time. It's a lot of talent from St. Louis that it get overshadowed. I run into conversations all the time where people don't know, what I did in high school, and I'm fine with that. Right. But I know I was putting in work, but it's just so much talent that people can't really keep up with everybody, so the real ones know, that Suburban North, our conference was tough.
Oh my God.
So I know what Reese used to do. Reese unless he forgot, he got amnesia. He know the work I used to put in on Central, so.
You lucky he just left. He would chimed in on that.
Yeah, he could have peeked his head in.
Time. Yeah, you picked the right time. I mean, I honestly, I wish he would have continued on with football after high school, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. See, I didn't know he played football.
Mm-hmm, yeah, he was a quarterback there.
Okay.
Well, I think a lot of that got overshadowed with A.J. Jefferson being the running back.
Yeah, he was a beast.
But he was a quarterback there too. And he had some opportunities too, but I guess I'm not gonna speak for him, but I just feel like he just didn't want to pursue that much, or he didn't really think too much into it. But looking back at it, I think my guy should have played football or even basketball, shit for that matter.
Yeah, just continue.
I think he would have played a little bit collegiately, but
yeah. And I think the benefit the kids have nowadays, I mean, everybody's got a trainer. Everybody's got social media. I mean, if I always joke and say, if I had social media back when I played, I would have had some offers that I probably would have never even imagined, because all they tell you, you package 4 or 5 dunks and a highlight, you golden. Now you got the attention that you need. And
I mean, look at Zion. No one heard of this cat until he started booming.
Yeah.
And then everybody just started sprinkling offers on him. And not to discredit his dunking ability, because it was freaking sick.
Yeah.
Some of the dudes looked like they were in 7th grade.
Yeah. The competition wasn't up to par.
Yeah, but he hey, like you said, the right combination of getting the right dude to video record, the right dude to edit, getting the right trainer, because that's the thing. Everybody can get a trainer, but you got to get the right trainer. You know what I'm saying? Not the one that got you out here doing things that are just out of your real house. Just take your strengths, elevate it, and add just a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
Maybe we got trainers out here doing everything underneath the sun. Like, this kid is never going to be able to pull this off in the game because
you got it.
Athletic enough, they're not quick enough, but they can shoot.
Yeah.
Focus on that. But we got some trainers out here that,
four ball dribbles and
it's just like
catching the tennis ball and doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
My thing is, do what you need to do to get from point A to point B. 3 to 5 seconds is really 3 seconds. The ball should be in your hand, and you need to be making a move, going towards the basket. If you dribbling behind your back and all of that, but you pulling further away from the hoop, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
You see it so much, with trainers. Mm-hmm. They got all these 3-4 ball dribble combos, and
you only get one ball.
It drives me nuts, Jordan.
Oh yeah, bro. Just
drives me nuts.
Some stuff just keep it. Some to me, and I guess I'm old school, but some stuff just the simpler the better.
Definitely.
Be more effective, because all it like if you efficient as hell, the scoring will come easy.
Definitely. Yeah. All the time. Get to the free throw line, couple mid-range shots, pull back, get a couple threes.
That's lost. Mid-range is becoming a lost art.
Yeah.
And so when you have it in your bag, you stand out, because everybody's threes, layups.
Yeah. That's the one thing I like about Kawhi.
Man.
Kawhi, DeMar DeRozan.
They don't need a screen. You create their own. And you don't know when they pulling it up. They just go, man.
And I'll even go on the women's side. Candace Parker. I think Asia Wilson. I think she shoots some threes, but I like her game too. And then the one leg sleeve that's just a dope look to me. So, but she's dope. She's dope.
Yeah,
she's dope.
We got a lot. We got a lot of players on the women's side. I wish a lot. I mean, you tap in because it's sports.
Yeah.
But a lot more would just appreciate, what we do underneath the rim. Like I get it. We're not gonna have dunkers. We're not gonna have the LeBron James or the Zach Levines and flying all by. But ball handling, our passing, and just other pieces of the game that are less appreciated because it's not entertaining.
Definitely.
That's why.
Yeah, the women's game is more fundamentally sound. I've been to Dallas Wings games and I had a good time. Like I wanted to keep going back. I mean, it was entertaining. Like I said, it was fundamentally sound. So I knew nobody was going to dunk, so I wasn't expecting dunks. So I was looking at other things like, okay, how is she going to come off this screen? When she comes off the screen, what is she doing? And I think I went to a game and they played the Aces, and Liz Cambage is just a freaking giant, so that was entertaining in itself.
Uh-huh.
To see her out there, towering over everybody. Yeah. She did. She got a personality.
Yeah.
Got a personality. All right, I'm gonna throw a couple quick hitters at you, and then I'm gonna let you get out. Like I said, I want to be conscious of your time. So we're gonna do a couple top fives, which I've never done these top fives. So give me your top 5 basketball movies. It don't have to be in a particular order, but He Got Game should be on that list.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, gotta go with the Love and Basketball classic. Come on.
Definitely.
Shit, Hoop Dreams.
Yeah.
Hoop Dreams. I know it's not like a movie, but that's a doc. Space Jam. The original and only Space Jam.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Space Jam 2 with Bron.
Yeah. Shoot. Blue Chips.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my boy Dominic. That's his favorite movie. Dominic Martin. Love Blue Chips.
I feel like I'm missing some more, but those are just a few that come to mind on top.
Above the Rim is not really a basketball movie, but it is.
Right. Yeah.
I always put that in mind. Blue Chips, Love and Basketball, He Got Game. A lot of people don't know about it. Well, they know about it, but it's overshadowed. Heaven is a Playground. I don't know if you ever seen that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, check that one out. It's a good movie. Or you can even go with White Men Can't Jump.
How can I forget about that one?
White Men Can't Jump.
Dang, yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. Yeah, but check out Heaven is a Playground. You'll like it. It's a good movie.
All right, I'm about to put that.
All right, then so I normally go with I have people give me their top 5 in St. Louis as far as hoopers. Give me their top 5 NBA players. But with you being the first ever female guest on Ice Cold Facts, give me your top 5 female hoopers. And it could be current or past. And then I'm gonna give you mine once you're done.
All right, so gotta go with Deanna Jackson out of Parkway West.
Okay.
She hooped at Parkway West, hooped at Oklahoma. Now she was coaching with Mississippi State, and that whole staff just got hired at Texas. So
yeah,
another St. Louis native stand up. Tara Peaches Harris.
Okay.
Tara Harris from Gateway.
Yeah.
If you don't, I know you know.
Yeah, I know.
And everybody knows about Peaches.
Yeah.
For me growing up, those two I followed. My dad took me to all the games, all the games. Let's see. Gotta go with Nia Ivy.
Okay.
Yeah, those 3 for sure.
It's tough. It's a lot of.
Yeah.
It's a very saturated field. It's a lot of dope female hoopers.
Excluding myself, because I'll throw myself in a heartbeat. Let me make that clear. Excluding myself, man. To me, I mean, Sonia Doherty don't get enough love. I think
she was
cold with it. She was cold with it too. She went to Hancock. She
was giving buckets,
big buckets. It's remiss for me to not throw her in there just within our. I went back for all that. I reserved 3 for my staples and 1 around, and then I'm gonna pick one within the 2010 era. For me, the coldest gotta be Suge Sutton. Yeah. Alicia Suge Sutton.
Shout out to Suge. Drafted by the Mystics, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She unfortunately, due to all this COVID stuff, she got cut because they wasn't doing training camp. But yeah, like for me, for her, for 2010s and on, like she's the one that just kind of stood out to me. And I may be a little biased because I've known the girl since she was fucking 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
But just watching her, like, just throughout, like, shit. I mean, the Fisher Collier too, like those two. I mean, they give me those 6. I got those in the Fisher Collier in there too, like those 6.
She was a game changer, like.
Even though, I mean, she lived in Jeff City and came here after her freshman year, but we claim her. So,
well, from a local standpoint, I agree with your list. I'll throw in. She went to Incarnate Word. I want to say her name was Felicia Chester.
Yep.
Yeah, she was nice too. I forgot where she went to college and all that.
DePaul. She went to DePaul, and then she played for New York Liberty. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got her too. Yeah. Yeah.
And then from a professional standpoint, my favorite is always been Tarazi.
Oh, for sure.
The female Mamba, basically. Her and Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley just had the swag. You know, Dawn Staley was dope to me. And even just watching her coach, and I'm like, man, I would love to meet Dawn Staley just to.
Oh, she's super chill.
Yeah.
She's super chill.
She to me, she's like no other coach in the country is like her.
No.
Like I said, from the swag to, you know, even just how she be dressing, it's like, you out here killing it. Yeah, she's dope.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I want to end it, Jordann, with like I said, I definitely appreciate you for coming on and taking your time out to, you know, just come on and be the first ever, you know, female. You know, hopefully this set the trend with many more to come, but you get the privilege of being the first. So I definitely, I like I said, I appreciate you for that. I want to know, what would Jordann tell her younger self? Like I said, we're gonna end it with this, but I want, you know, whether it be, what would Jordann now tell 14-year-old Jordann or 13-year-old Jordann? You know, what would you tell yourself?
Knowing what I know now, man.
Yeah, it's always a tough one to get people.
Yeah, because it's like, shit, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking back, it's not much that I would change about how I went about, you know, where I am or what, you know. Enjoy the journey.
You breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
I can. You just went into a whole spiel that we didn't get to hear.
Okay, so what I said. Oh, damn. No, so what I said. Yeah. So I said, for me, I would tell my younger self to enjoy the process. Continue to embrace the grind. For me, telling your younger self, like, outwork your competition. That was my approach every day. I remember a lot of parties, a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
That were missed in high school and in middle school, because I'd rather go to Heman Park and hoop at the rec center for hours, or go outside and hoop with the grown-ass men on concrete, or, you know, the court that used to be on 40 that's no longer there. I'm still mad about that. They took that away, bruh.
We had me, Terry, Alvin, Mikey, we used to go up there. We used to run it.
Yeah.
We would act like we couldn't play, and then we just kill.
Yeah.
It used to be hilarious.
Man, I started bringing some of my girls to come up there, And so our rule was, once we won, we playing with a women's ball. We'll play with y'all ball to start, but if we win, we switching this ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was their reason that, all right, so play us for real. Like, y'all want to play with this ball so bad, play us for real.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So, I mean, I was just so immersed in it that, you know, I enjoyed the process. There's nothing that I would change. I grew going to Drake at a PWI and everything. It was a shock my first year, you know, going from an all-black high school and then not going to a university where, you know, the demographics fit my high school. So,
right.
You know, that was a choice I made. Especially, I mean, when you hear Des Moines, Iowa, you're automatically gonna think cold,
corn,
and not much there, and you know, so. But yeah, so that's what I would tell my younger self, which is
enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey. Because I mean, something's just gonna happen anyway, so enjoy it and make the best of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Jordann. I'm gonna let you go. Yeah. Like I said, we can chop it up again. You know, hopefully you guys get a season. And I know you have a busy schedule at that point, but you know, maybe we can slide something in during the season. You know, if you're able to. And like I said, I'm gonna shoot some stuff over your way. You know, for some girls that you might like. So.
Oh yeah.
We'll stay in touch.
We need some Texas players.
Yeah.
Texas always got that heat.
Yeah, we ready. I'm trying to tell people. All right, so we'll be in touch, and I'll get some stuff your way.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, sis. All right.